Good evening, everyone. I realise there is no sound at the moment. There is a reason for that. We just have some technical issues going on in the background. Please do bear with us and we will be with you shortly. We are just waiting to sort it out. Some people are coming in via the wrong feed at the moment. Be with you shortly. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone who's just been entered into the, I don't know how you've managed to get here, but you've managed to come in the back door to our actual presenter side of the meeting. There is a chat that I'm about to put the actual link that you need to access the main meeting as an attendee. Please do click on that link now and leave this part of the meeting. I have no idea how you've managed to get into this part, but please do. I will be removing you from this chat, this part of the meeting shortly. I'm not going to announce names, but please, those people have just come in, they've been waiting to come in. I've just let you in. That should make sense to you. You should be able to see how you join the other part of the meeting. So please do bear with us. Hopefully that has worked for you. Good evening, everybody. I hope that you can hear me. I apologise for the slow start to this evening's events. We've had a few technical issues with people coming in through the wrong channels, and we've just been trying to solve that in the background. Welcome to the Year 12 Parents Information Evening. We are sorry that we can't be hosting this live in school, but we are really pleased to be welcoming you virtually, despite the trouble that we've had already this evening. My name is Mrs. Williamson-Jones. I'm the new Deputy Head Pastoral here at Nonsuch High School. Before we get going this evening, I just wanted to cover some housekeeping information to help this evening run as smoothly as possible. You would have noticed, as you've attended as an attendee, that you have no microphone or video function, but we do have a question and answer function that you can use to ask any questions that you may have as we go along through the presentation. And at the end of the presentation, we'll return to answer some of these questions. Please can I ask that you do not ask specifically about your child, and that you either email Mr. Coy or their form tutor to get a response to those types of questions. You would have also received some information from us about subtitles. You can access these through the web-based version of Teams, not the app, and by clicking the square with the 2CC in at the bottom of the screen. Finally, please do bear with us in the event of any technical issues, as you've had to do so far. This is the first time of us trialling this software through this set of parent information evenings, and we hope at the end of the day it provides a better experience for you and for us to provide you with the information that you need. Now, what I would like to do is, if you just give me a second, because I'm also the producer, is pass over to Miss Johns, who's going to lead on the information that you are going to need for your child in Year 12. Over to you, Miss Johns. You need to unmute yourself, Miss Johns. That is the only thing that you do need to do.
Thank you very much. Hope everyone can hear me now. Good evening. I'm Miss Johns. I'm the Assistant Head Teacher and Director of Sixth Form, and I'm delighted to have the opportunity to speak to you this evening. A very warm welcome to all parents and carers. I'm also delighted that we have had lots of new students join the Sixth Form, and so a particularly warm welcome to new parents who are joining us for their first non-such engagement, albeit remote. Year 12 is a very important year as students embark on their A-levels for the next 5 terms. And this time goes extremely quickly. So students in Year 12 are a strategic focus for the school as we support them in their transition from GCSE to A-level. You will hear from Miss Denya, Assistant Head of Year 12 shortly, who will share with you more detail about our transition programme. We are proud of our Sixth Form community, and it is a community we continue to build post-lockdown. It is also a community that you are very much a part of, and we want to work with you to ensure our students are able to be the very best at whatever they choose to be. Thank you for signing our non-such charter, and we look forward to working together over the coming months. The school values of Price, which are positivity, respect, integrity, courage, and endeavour, underpin our Sixth Form vision. And our success is driven by collaborative and positive relationships, which are built on mutual trust and respect. So members of the Sixth Form team thought to start off our Sixth Form journey, and it is a collective R, we would set ourselves a challenge to share with the Sixth Form community, which embodies the school values of Price and emphasises the importance of teamwork and positive relationships. We wanted the students to understand that while Sixth Form is a change, a big change, and whilst many students will study the same subjects they did at GCSE, they will need to change how they work, they will need to do things differently, and they will fail and get things wrong several times over. We also wanted them to understand that it takes resilience and courage to do things differently, to try new things and persevere. And all of this is linked to our challenge. So, on the 20th of February 2022, the Sixth Form team, pictured here, will endeavour to run the Hampton Court Half Marathon together. We hope that our perseverance and commitment to our training and our support of one another in this pursuit embodies the school values and shows to the Sixth Form student body the importance of teamwork, trust and positivity. I am now going to hand over to my colleague, Ms Denya, who is going to talk further about our Sixth Form transition programme.
Good evening. As Ms Johns mentioned, I'm Ms Denya, Assistant Head of Year 12 and Teacher of English, and it's a pleasure to be able to remotely meet with so many of you and to share our Year 12 transition programme. As a Sixth Form team, we are acutely aware of the unique challenge our now Year 12 students experienced during their Year 10 and Year 11. The pandemic caused schooling to be disrupted, with remote learning becoming the new norm and our young people bearing witness to the anxiety and fear of the country as a whole. Our transition programme is designed within this context. We recognise that academic, social and emotional growth post-pandemic are simply not mutually exclusive. In careful collaborative planning with previous Year 12 students, we have designed the transition programme that you're able to see on this slide, and this plan runs alongside our teaching and learning transition programme. Weekly assemblies, tutor times and PSHE sessions all work in tandem, and as you can see, our main focus this half term is supporting our students through the transition into Year 12. I'd like to draw your attention to just a couple of key areas. As you will notice, every Monday our students receive mentoring from their tutors. Our form tutors are an essential part of the Sixth Form team and are the first point of contact for students every morning and afternoon. Mentoring on a Monday is an opportunity for students to share what they have perhaps enjoyed so far about Year 12, but most importantly, this is a space for them to express any concerns or any anxieties they might have. Focus groups also meet with myself, Miss Johns, Mr Coy and Miss Cavilla to discuss student experiences and consider any adjustments we can make as a Sixth Form team to aid transition. In close collaboration with the Sixth Form team, teachers of Year 12 are also on hand to assist students with the transition into A-level learning. Questionnaires in early lessons are used to identify any gaps in learning, and as this half term develops, teachers are asked to identify any students they may regard as struggling, so that early intervention and help can be provided. Year 13 students, including the student leadership team and Year 13 buddies, also play an essential role in Year 12 transition. They've helped lead assemblies this half term, and Year 13 buddies attend Year 12 tutorial times every Tuesday. They also lead a drop-in session every Monday lunchtime. These students have all navigated what can often be a daunting transition into A-level and are very keen to share their advice and their guidance, including how to work effectively during freeze to manage the increase in workload. Finally, our PSHE sessions this half term aim to encourage students to develop a healthy A-level mindset and have explored the importance of vulnerability and seeking help when it's needed. We are keen for our students to know that we are here to support them, and with that in mind, I will hand over to Mr. Coy to discuss in more detail the support available to our students.
Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Coy. I'm delighted to be head of Year 12 this year. I was head of Year 8 and 9 for this cohort, and so it is great to be with them again, and also to welcome students who have joined Nonsuch this term. I hope to be able to meet some of you in the future as well in events when we're able to. We believe that entering sixth form is a really exciting and important time for students. An opportunity both for a great start, fresh start, and also to grow and mature as individuals, preparing themselves for their lives beyond school. However, we also realise that to achieve this growth, students still need plenty of encouragement and support along the way. We are keen to encourage them to be more independent and self-disciplined, but it's important for them to be aware of what systems are in place for them to go to should they have questions to ask, have worries or concerns, or just need some advice. The diagram you can see shows the range of support available within school. There's very much a team element here. We collaborate closely with each other, and if we think someone is better served by another member of staff, we will ensure that that student is directed to them. The sixth form team comprises of myself, Miss Johns, Miss Denya, Mrs. Rush, Mrs. Powell, and Mrs. Tingley. We also have Mr. Key, who supports students with their transition to higher education, and particularly to Oxbridge. Everyone except Mrs. Tingley has their office next to the sixth form common room on the top floor, allowing us to be frequently available for students to speak to, particularly at break and lunchtime. We can also keep an eye on what they're up to. Mrs. Powell is our sixth form administration assistant. She receives letters from students and forms that students need to hand in, and will also be in touch if anyone is absent from school without giving an explanation. Mrs. Powell will let students know when we are available if they cannot find us in our office. She also has a key to the wellbeing room. This is a quiet area where students who need some space and privacy can go if they are finding things challenging on a particular day. If they need to access it, they or a friend need to ask Mrs. Powell for the key so we know who's in there at a given time. Mrs. Tingley is our careers education coordinator. Miss Johns will speak a little bit more about this later. Mrs. Tingley can arrange guidance interviews with students unsure of what to study or do when they leave school. She also coordinates a mentoring scheme with former Nonsuch students now in different fields of work. The tutors, as you can see here, are the members of the staff that students will see most frequently. Morning registration is at 8:30, and can I say, I'm very impressed by how students are registering on time at 8:30. I hope Ms. Johns and Ms. Denny would agree with that, but we are very impressed by how they are arriving on time. Please keep this up. And the afternoon session is at 2 p.m. Tutors also lead a PSHE session once a week. The tutors, as you can see, are Mrs. Nalalican in 12.1, Mr. Burton in 12.2, Ms. Cowdrey in 12.3, Mr. Sue in 12.4. Dr. Thomas Cole and Mrs. Buchan share responsibility for 12.5. Mr. Berry there is in 12.6, Ms. Piggott 12.7, Mr. Tavares 12.8, Ms. Pardy 12.9, and Mr. Williamson in 12.10. We recommend that for many issues, students speak to their tutors as a first port of call. Please also, you can also email the tutors yourself if you have any concerns that you wish to ask about. You can see the format at the top there. So basically, their surname, initial at nonsuchschool.org. So picking on Mr. Sue, that would be Mr. Sue's initial there. I've just realised I've not put their initials on. This is an error. Sorry. I'll make sure that's changed in the PowerPoint. Moving on. So I apologize, but I'll make sure that detail is available to you, and your students will know this. To support students, we also have a school counsellor who works 3 days a week if students need more pastoral support. Students can self-refer, or I can refer them, or Miss Daniel, Miss Johns, if they come to see a member of the sixth form team. We also have our ELSA, our Emotional Literacy Support Assistant, who works full-time for the school. Our ELSA, Miss Campbell, is available to work with students who are feeling stressed or anxious, experiencing body confidence or relationship issues, or just need someone independent from their teachers to talk to. If your child would like to speak to Miss Campbell, they can make an appointment by coming to see me or to drop in to see her. Additionally, we have a school nurse who is available for drop-in sessions on Thursday mornings. She is available to see students about both physical health and emotional health issues. We'll be welcoming Emma Sutton, a child wellbeing practitioner, to the school later this term. Emma will offer rapid access to guided self-help interventions, which is a structured set of sessions based on the principles of cognitive behavioural therapy, or CBT. This type of therapy can be effective in dealing with difficulties with worry or low mood or exam stress. Again, students can either self-refer, or they can make an appointment for a member of our team. These are the members of staff who take the lead on matters involving safeguarding and child protection. The students are aware of who they are, but if you also have any concerns about safeguarding, please contact Mrs. Holmes, our safeguarding lead, or you can see also Miss Johns, Deputy Safeguarding Lead, is also present for matters for the sixth form. But Mrs. Holmes is our safeguarding lead in the first instance. For issues regarding lessons and academic work, we strongly recommend that students first, if possible, can talk to their teachers, as they will know these issues best. Later in the term, once we've received assessment data, departments will be able to identify those students who may need particularly focused support, perhaps to ensure they have their core understanding of the topics, or perhaps to encourage them to stretch and challenge themselves to fulfil their potential. We will also establish intervention groups as a sixth form, based on data we receive for students who are not making expected progress for whatever reason. We are well aware that the jump to A-level study is a steep one, and the transition programme, as Dania has mentioned, covers quite a few of the techniques required for this. But we're also aware that the demands of the pandemic have also been heavy for students over the last 2 years. We will keep watch, therefore, for students who may need particular assistance, providing either general learning strategies or more targeted advice based on their situation. Before I move on to the next slide, I also just want to mention the buddy scheme that has been set up by Ms. Dania. And again, we are pleased that there are students that students know they can come and speak to, both in drop-in sessions and in tutor time. So if there's something they feel they wish to speak to at someone of a similar age, they have that ability. We regard students as being at the centre of everything that we do, and they are surrounded, as you've heard, by a network of support methods. However, we also, to be blunt, do need your cooperation and help in order to allow the children to thrive and fulfil their potential in this school. There are several ways that you can see that we particularly appreciate your help on this slide. But overall, please, it is just to work collaboratively with us as a community. Encouraging your children, please, to develop as independent learners. Yes, they're getting older, and soon they'll be ready for life beyond the sixth form, but that takes time, and sometimes there are tensions. Of course, we wish to support the well-being, but that needs your help too, to support their well-being, removing those barriers to achievement which are there, whilst maintaining high expectations. As Ms. Johns has mentioned, thank you for you signing the charters alongside the students. That provides a contract, effectively, of the expectations that we have as a school from both them, and they also the obligations we have to them. And those charters are a useful document to show that we have high expectations for them. We also ask, especially for you as parents, to ensure that the students maintain high attendance here and that no day at school is missed. We strongly believe that regular attendance is vital for students' education, particularly in the sixth form, as they are only here for effectively 5 terms. 95% attendance, which sounds okay on paper, is at least 8 days lost or 30 hours of lessons lost. For that reason, please, of course, if your children are unwell, they need to stay off. But if there are other reasons, please don't collude with your children. Please encourage them, perhaps force them, to come to school where they will be served best. We have several marks that we note for attendance. 95% attendance will lead to a conversation. If a student's attendance drops below 95%, that will lead to a conversation between tutor and student. They may also lose eligibility for exit privileges, which we offer later this year for those with good attendance and who are working well. At 90% attendance, we are likely to get in touch with parents and have them into the meetings to investigate what the problems might be. As we go further down, the situation becomes more critical, then we're required to inform the attendance officer of the borough, and if it goes below 80%, we will regard the students have not attended school sufficiently and may require them to pay their own exam fees should they attend so little. Finally, some statistics which you may find of interest. UCAS, the system which processes all A-level results and sends students to university, notes that when UCAS grades are offered, generally students who have attendances of 96.5% or above tend to meet or exceed the UCAS grades they've been set in their subjects. However, that drops rapidly. With a small change in attendance, that drops rapidly. Students with 92.8% attendance or below may see them losing 1 grade or below for UCAS grades in one subject. And you can see the figures drop and become even more drastic. So, attendance is vital and can have a profound effect on a student's final performance in what are considerably challenging studies. Having mentioned UCAS, this seems an appropriate time to hand over to Ms. Johns to tell you a little bit more about how we support students with their higher education. Oh, excuse me, one more slide. Yes, also, I'll make sure this is included. We also have several more slides, several more organisations that we support students with. We have shared these with students in a recent assembly, including Childline, and Kooth is an app which they can use for support. There's also the local counselling service and 2 charities that we recommend for specific issues. BEAT encourages students with eating disorders, and Papyrus for those with low mood particularly. I will now hand over to Ms. Johns.
So, our recent Ofsted inspection praised our excellent careers provision, our e-mentoring alumni programme, and recognised how much our students value the UCAS advice and guidance we provide. We are very clear that we will support all of our students in whatever path they choose to follow, and to that end, we offer a varied higher education and careers programme. Next slide, please. You will see from the slide some examples of our provision. I'm not going to talk through all of them because we'll send you information nearer the time, but I do want to draw your attention to a couple of key events in the autumn term. We will shortly be launching our e-mentoring scheme. The aim of this programme is to give students the opportunity of one-to-one support from an experienced professional and enable them to expand their horizons and make a connection with someone who can help them gain a new perspective on the possibilities open to them after they leave Nonsuch. The programme is not designed so students can learn what it's like to work in a specific career that they may be interested in. The virtual mentoring scheme aims to provide students with valuable insights into higher education and employment by linking them up with an alumni professional. A mentor can give students practical information, advice and guidance, as well as share the benefits of their experience. And I do hope the students will take up this opportunity when we launch it in a couple of weeks' time. In November then, we have our annual University Taster Evening. This will enable Year 12 students and yourselves to experience some of the varied courses on offer at university, see how lectures differ from classes they take now, and to hear about any entry criteria, course information and possible career paths firsthand from academics delivering the courses. Students will have the opportunity to attend up to 4 taster lectures over 2 evenings, which will be run by academics. This year, the sessions will run on the 23rd and 24th of November, and they will all run remotely. You will also see towards the end of the year, you will be invited to attend a guidance meeting. These take place after Year 12 exams and are an opportunity to discuss your child's progress and their university or careers aspirations. Students will be provided with predicted grades after their Year 12 exams, which will support them in choosing their university destinations. Predicted grades are evidence driven and therefore performance throughout Year 12 and performance in end of year exams will inform the predicted grades given. We begin our process with parents really from about January in terms of our higher education launch, and as I said, we'll write to you nearer the time. I'm now going to hand over to Miss Denia, who's going to share with you some extracurricular and leadership opportunities that we encourage all of our students to get involved in.
So sixth form can be an incredibly busy time for all our students, but we are keen for them to play a full and active role in the life and evolution of the school. Year 12 and Year 13 are the role models for students in years below, and we encourage all our sixth formers to take part in extracurricular activities and to apply for positions of student leadership. We offer a wide range of extracurricular activities that run both at lunchtime and after school. A detailed timetable is available on the school website, but amongst many others, we offer gospel choir, indoor cricket, senior debating, lit soc, netball, law society, cheerleading, and the DV award. Many sixth formers also help lead clubs for Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4. For example, students can help with Year 7 DEAR lessons. DEAR stands for Drop Everything and Read, where they can sit and read with Year 7 students who may find reading aloud a little bit more daunting. Our student leadership team and care committee, which you can see on the slide before you, are integral parts of the Non-Such community, and it is so exciting to see that Year 12 students have already applied to take on positions of responsibility within care. More opportunities will arise throughout the year and positions are open to all, and as always we are keen for as many students as possible to put themselves forward. So finally, just some final pieces of key information. The first one to note is that there is a change of date for the Year 12 Parents Consultation Evening. That is now on the 2nd of March. That's just one for your diaries. If you are interested in joining the Non-Such PTA, if you look on the website and follow them on their Twitter, you can see where to get involved. And finally, just as a really key reminder, if you think that your child might be eligible to apply for the sixth form bursary, we would encourage as many people as possible to apply for that. You'll note that the deadline was actually last week, but we've extended that now to Friday. So we encourage as many people as possible to apply. And finally, we'll go into some question and answers.
Thank you, Denia. Thank you, everybody. I might just need to mute all the screen and just while we do this. That's better. Excellent. You're on a 30 to 45 second delay from us. I'm just going to now fill a little bit of airspace to try and buy some time to allow you to write any questions you may have in the question and answer function of this webinar. So please do write any questions you may have on anything to do with the presentation this evening, and we can then answer those questions live to you. On another note, we have had a few technical issues with people coming on the wrong feed, and I'm on the wrong link, and I'm unsure how that's happened. Hopefully some of those people that came in on the wrong link originally have found their way back to being an attendee. However, I didn't say at the beginning, but I will say now that we are recording this evening's presentation. We will make that presentation available to you on the school website alongside the slides of the presentation. And any question and answers that we may not get to, or any answers to any questions we may not get to this evening, if I can get the right time of day. It's been a very long day, I apologise. I still don't have any questions coming in, so I'm just going to leave it a couple more minutes, just trying to fill some airtime. If you do have any questions that you'd like to ask us about anything to do with sixth form, please do pop those in the live question and answer, and then I can pass those questions over to our sixth form team, Miss Johns, who will be able to answer those for you. It's a great opportunity to be able to ask anything that you haven't that you may not have had a good enough answer to tonight, or you might want some clarification on. Just having a look. Okay, here we go. A question. Thank you very much, whoever's posted this, saving me from my having to fill a little bit of airtime. I guess this comes across to you, Miss Johns. Do you provide any help with personal statements? You will need to unmute. I'm just going to send you live.
Yes, so we provide a huge amount of support with personal statements. We begin our personal statement writing after Year 12 exams, and in June we have what we call a higher education launch week, where we spend a couple of days. We have some universities in doing workshop with students on what makes a good personal statement. Students then have some time dedicated that day to start drafting their personal statement. We ask for all students to submit a draft personal statement about 3 to 4 weeks before the end of the summer term. That therefore means that all students who have done this have the opportunity to have feedback on their draft personal statement before breaking up for the summer holidays. When they come back in September, we then have sign-up sheets where students can sign up to meet with a member of the sixth form team to look at their personal statement. Our Oxbridge coordinator works specifically with Oxbridge applications to look at and give feedback on Oxbridge personal statements. Tutors during form time work with their tutees to give feedback, and also we encourage students to show their personal statement to at least one subject teacher where they're replying to a subject linked to that area. So I know sometimes students, I've seen about 3 or 4 drafts of a personal statement. So to round up, yes, a huge amount of support with their personal statements.
Thank you. Just on another one to do with sort of applications for university, medicine and dentistry. I don't know whether you covered that there. Sorry, I was reading through the questions, but is there anything you could add on to sort of medicine and dentistry applications to university?
Yeah, so similarly, same amount of support in terms of personal statements. We also, in the summer term of Year 12, we do an MMI evening, a bespoke evening designed in school, where we set up stations like an MMI workshop where students go around and participate in about 6 stations, and we give them feedback on each station. We also do a UCAT workshop in terms of preparation for admissions tests. Similarly, I'm part of the panel who interviews for medicine at UCL. So I tend to do a lot of work with our medic students, giving them feedback on their personal statements, and we do mock interview preparation for any students who require an interview, and that's normally with our alumni who have gone into medicine or contacts that we have.
Thank you. And this is the last question on university applications, or the last one at the moment in the feed. Oxbridge. What support is offered for people or students who would like to apply for Oxbridge? Is there particular interview practice?
So yes, there is interview practice that runs in November of Year 13, where they have a mock interview. This year we're running them remotely because Oxbridge are running them remotely, and they're very technical or challenging interviews. We do similar support with personal statement writing. We run admission test workshops in the autumn term of Year 13. We also run what we call intellectual curiosity workshops, where students are encouraged to debate and think on their feet. Those workshops are actually open to all students, but we sort of make it compulsory that Oxbridge applicants should attend because that's a requisite of the interview. We also get Oxbridge students to present. They have to do a presentation in the autumn term on the subject to which they're applying for, and then they discuss and debate it. I think if I missed out.
Yeah, I think we also, the Year 13s who go through the process, they speak to the Year 12s as they begin the process to give them some pointers as well, so there's some collaboration on that point. And in Year 12, we give advice and guidance for students as they're considering which university to choose, and give as much information they need about to be realistic about what life at Oxbridge or other high-level universities would be like.
We also encourage all students to engage in what's called Future Learn courses. We normally get them to do it in the summer term of Year 12. There's some brilliant online courses that are sort of 3 to 4 weeks long, run by a variety of universities that really encourage students to go beyond their A-level syllabus and engage in some undergraduate work. So just in terms of building their wider reading and their intellectual curiosity, these are really, really valuable to do, and we launch that later on in the year.
That's great. Just to clarify one question. What is MI?
MMI is multi mini interview. So instead of a panel interview, A number of medical universities now, they set up like little workstations where they might be testing students on an ethical situation where they're presented with a question. They might test them on their dexterity, where they've got to thread needles and how many needles can they thread in a short space of time, to how they respond in crisis situations.
Thank you very much. The next question, sorry, that's come up is about predicted grades. I know that that's a question that you often get at sixth form level. When are the predicted grades provided for A level?
So the predicted grades for A level are provided after the year 12 exams, so normally towards the end of June. Those predicted grades are informed by their performance in their year 12 exams, as well as their performance throughout year 12, particularly recognising progress. So the predicted grades are very much evidence driven. We will send those predicted grades home to parents, and then obviously when we have our guidance meetings at the beginning of July, the idea is that those predicted grades inform the choices that students are making in terms of their decisions when looking at university, and parents and their children will have an opportunity to meet with the form tutor or the member of the sixth form team to discuss those university or career choices.
Okay, bit of a change of subject now, on to work experience. A couple of questions along the same kind of lines, just to give a little bit more information, but do we help find a placement, and how is work experience arranged?
Okay, so we haven't been able to run it for the last couple of years because of the pandemic, but it's very much the plan this year. So Mrs. Tingley will actually be doing an assembly, I believe, in the next few weeks imminently. To launch it imminently, to actually launch it with students in terms of the process. So we start thinking about it now. We have a sort of database of successful places that students might have used before contacts, but we actually really encourage very much students to seek out the places themselves. Mrs. Tingley will go through with the students risk assessments, paperwork and information that needs to be completed, and that information will also be sent home to parents, so they've got a kind of timeline of deadlines that need to be met. And what information needs to be completed. But yes, while we do have some contacts, the onus is very much on the students to find the places.
Great, brilliant. There's another question that's kind of related to that lower down, and I think the advice has kind of been given there that really the onus is on the students to look for what they want to do. I'm just changing tack now, moving on to it says here EPQ, but I'm thinking it means EPQ. Is there a specific subject, or what would you recommend EPQ should be done for?
So there's not a specific subject for the EPQ. EPQ really has to be driven by student interest. The EPQ is absolutely brilliant where students have a genuine interest in a particular subject. It does not need to be linked to their A-level studies or what they want to do at university. Some students do EPQs related to that, others do something completely different. Really the focus is the students got genuine interest, they like reading around, they like engaging in research linked to that topic area, and that's completely individual to each student.
I'd add to that the EPQ is marked particularly on process and the journey the student makes through that research process, which includes a presentation at the end. And if a student leaves it to the last minute and produces a great piece of work in the last moments, they won't actually score very highly. They have to show that they have thought their way through the process, engage with it, and as I say, yes, they produce a piece of work and a reflection at the end, but they have to be organised throughout to thrive in this.
Brilliant. Just changing tack again, going on to the reporting system. How does the report system work?
Okay, so we do an initial data drop actually quite soon, which is more for us to just see how students are settling in. And then our first data drop that's sent home to parents is just before October half term. I'm looking at my colleagues, yeah, just before October half term. And that first data drop gives a kind of overview of really, I suppose, how they've settled in the first term. They'll have an attitude to learning colour, which indicates how well they engage with their subject. So that, are they proactive? Are they reading round the subject? Are they asking lots of questions? Are they seeking their teachers out when they're finding things challenging? And then we give them what's called a best fit grade, and that grade gives an overview of the work that they've produced so far. Obviously, because it's quite early in year 12, that first best fit grade won't be based on that much evidence, and then obviously as the year goes on, when they have their next data drop, there'll be more evidence that goes into that. Normally that evidence is things like end of unit assessments, key essays, key pieces of homework, and then as we move towards the year, we also add on what's called a most likely outcome, and that is our projection of what we think students are going to achieve at the end of year 13. And obviously when we have our parents consultation evening in March, we will talk about, you know, where they're performing using the evidence that we've gained.
We also look, as I say, at the behaviour marks to see if they are engaging with that. That's another aspect which we consider when students are given extra privileges. Clearly that's not the only reason students are working hard, but it is a helpful indication for us. And I would say with the best fit grade, students should not consider that to be a mark, either a negative or positive. They should be striving to make progress wherever they are and not coast if they get a high grade earlier on, or be pessimistic if they get a low grade, but see that as a snapshot where they are now and use that to make progress forwards.
And then the final report at the end of year 12 is based on, is informed by their year 12 exam, and what you will receive then is a year 12 grade, so the grade they actually achieved in their year 12 exam, a most likely outcome in terms of what we think they'll get at the end of year 13, and also a UCAS predicted grade.
And that year 12 exam by and large will be based on A-level questions. Clearly it won't be the whole course, but will be for the close experience so far that students will have had of their final A-level experience.
Thank you very much for that comprehensive answer. A couple of questions now about law as a career and what support we give to anyone who wants to study law, but also slightly different tack, apprenticeships. Do we give any support for people going to apprenticeships?
Okay. So shall I answer that? Okay, so law is kind of similar to, I suppose, some of the answers that I've already given in terms of supporting with personal statement writing. We do mock interviews. We would encourage law students to come along to intellectual curiosity workshops. So very much similar to the programme of support we do in terms of higher education and all the advice and guidance. Admissions tests, so the LNAT as well, that's all available for law students. Apprenticeships then, so we launch our apprenticeships in January as part of our higher education and apprenticeships evening, and this is an evening for parents where we talk both about higher education and also the National Apprenticeship Scheme. We also then have, as part of our higher education week in June, we have apprenticeship talks that the students can sign up to and find out more about. We organise career meetings where students want either advice and guidance on careers or to talk further about apprenticeships. We also encourage students, we've got some alumni that we work with, and the other thing is we do in March a careers fair where we have our alumni come in, and again that's a kind of networking event where students can learn more about careers and see if there's apprenticeships available, and they can actually take contact details of our alumni and make contact that way.
We certainly believe there are some non-such students highly suited to apprenticeships and give them equal value to university courses. We believe there are some students who have thrived on an apprentice, and that's been ideal for them. So students should certainly not discount them, but should look at them very carefully to see if that is right for them.
Thank you very much. Just moving tack again, how much work can students expect each week per subject to be done in free periods and at home? And how much is set specifically, and how much do you expect them to be doing extra research using their own initiative?
Okay, so as a rule of thumb, we sort of say they could be expected to be given the same amount of homework as lessons. So in a week, if they have 5 hours of history, they could be set up to 5 hours of history work. That is in terms of what the teacher is setting. Now, on top of that, we would obviously encourage students to be trying to make revision notes or flashcards as they go along. I know some subjects actually set that as part of their homework. I would also, it varies from subject to subject, but as time goes on, we would be encouraging them to practice exam questions under time conditions, work through past papers, but also start to extend themselves in the terms of their wider reading. So I can't really put necessarily a figure on the extra amount, but certainly a minimum, I would say, of homework wise, 5 hours per subject per week. Yeah.
Fantastic. I've had a couple of questions in. I'm just going to put myself on the screen so I can talk. A couple of questions that I can possibly answer to do with our school website. And we are aware what our school website is like. We are slowly making improvements to it. If you look into recently updated parts of it, include the PSHE area and the extracurricular area. Thank you for the feedback. The feedback is always good and we really appreciate it, but we are aware of that. So thank you for the comments that have gone in about the school website. I'm just going to send Miss Johns back live to ask a couple of other questions that are coming up on the screen. So I'm just going to now look for them. Approximately how many students are getting the admissions in Oxford, Cambridge universities from Nonsuch every year?
So in terms of our conversion rate from interview to offer, it's normally about 50% of those that are interviewed are made offers, and this year everyone who was made an offer secured a place. In terms of application to interview, it varies slightly year on year. We normally aim to get at least sort of 70 to 80% conversion. We were a bit down last year in terms of our conversion from application to interview, so we've been working on that this year to ensure that we have a high conversion rate.
Brilliant. A couple of other questions, 2 more to go. What's the difference between EPQ and elective?
So the EPQ is one of our elective programmes that students can follow. So there are about 10 programmes within our elective. I can quickly list them: Arts Award, Cooking, Textiles, Photography, Arts in the Renaissance, Robotics, Young Enterprise, EPQ, Dissection.
The Renaissance.
The Renaissance. So the idea of the elective programme is basically that students choose one thing that they do for the year in addition to their 3 A levels that are going to develop their skills and their area of interest. Again, sometimes students choose something from our elective programme that links to their A levels. Often students choose something that they just didn't have space for at A level, but they wish to kind of pursue in a different avenue. It's about enjoyment and skill development for a period each week. Sports leaders as well. I forgot sports leaders. Sorry, this is Williamson Jones being a PE teacher. Sports leaders, very good as well.
It's okay, Miss Johns, I'll forgive you. Okay, last couple of questions. Do parents continue to get the same level of information throughout year 12 and 13, or does it stop when students turn 18?
No, we continue to communicate and send that information out to parents. I suppose the one thing that is perhaps slightly different, maybe from lower school, is we try and put more emphasis on students taking responsibility for their learning. So perhaps if there are instances with work concerns or attendance issues, punctuality, sometimes what we will do is email the student about this, copying in the parents. So we're keeping the parents informed, but what we're also trying to do is encourage the students to come and have conversations and take responsibility rather than just contacting the parents and kind of keeping the students out the loop. But in terms of information about reports, university, all of that, we try and communicate with parents as much as possible.
Okay, last question this evening. It's about DofE, so I'm not sure if you're the best placed or I'm the best placed. How does the DofE work with the 6th?
So it works really in the same way as it has done lower down the school. Mrs. Holmes oversees the D of E, and when it's time to kind of sign up for the next cohort, she will send out information to sixth form students, and then they sign up in the way that they have done previously. I'm sorry, I can't give you specifics about that, but it goes through Mrs. Holmes, and it's open to sixth form students in the same way it has been lower down the school.
Thank you, Mrs. Johns, Miss Dear and Mr. Coy. I'm just going to put myself live. Can I just ask you to mute yourself so there's no echo in the background? It just leaves me to say thank you very much for joining us this evening. I know there's been technical issues, and I know there's been some feedback about that in our chat. Sorry if I had made the assumption that it was your mistake. It's not. It's definitely ours. Some link has gone out in a wrong way from school that people have clicked onto and linked into it. So yes, we're aware of that. We need to look into it. If you do have any other feedback for us before you leave this evening, please do write that in the question and answer function. Any feedback we've got from tonight will help us to improve and make those improvements for the future. But thank you ever so much for your time this evening. I hope that you found the evening informative and that you've had some answers to your questions. If you do have any further questions that you would like answers to, as I said at the beginning, please do contact Mr. Coy or your child's form tutor, and they'll be able to help you with that. But all that leaves me to say is have a really great evening, and we will see you soon. Take care. You can leave now. Thank you. Bye-bye.